Welcome back to the Dylan Shea channel. If you've never been here before, this is a game week roundup and reaction. It's now game week 9 already, which is a bit crazy. If you don't know what I do here, I look at the games that I watched on the weekend a bit more in depth. This week we've got Chelsea vs Wolves first. We've got 4 games that I'll talk about. Then I talk about just a few of the other games, just touch on them. Then I go on to my player of the round, the goal of the round of the game week. And then my fantasy, see how I did. It's a rough one, I can't lie. Starting off with Chelsea versus Wolves. Firstly, I just want to talk about my man of the match. I don't talk about who the commentators give man of the match because I disagree with them most of the time, but I've gone with Mason Mount for Chelsea because I thought he was very, very good. It was sort of a throwback to the Mason Mount that we know. You know, the one from a year ago, at the one with lots of energy, great ball carrier, good play, and you got 2 assists as well. First assist was a brilliant cross to Kai Havertz. I think it was better on Kai Havertz's part than Mount's, but the second assist, the reverse pass to Pulisic, is genius, really. It's a fantastic bit of play from Mason Mount, and it's a player we know that can do this. You know, let's not forget all these England players now are really fighting for those positions because, you know, you've got someone like James Maddison, who we'll get onto in a little bit, not getting in the squad. That's the quality that you have to be competing against. So, I mean, Mason Mount has to up his game, and that's exactly what he's done in this one. Got a massive 5 key passes as well in this game. Completed 2 of his 3 dribbles. Like I said, you know, we know Mason Mount is a great dribbler. And I think he has to be playing through the middle because he was a 10 in this game, and I think he looked at home, basically. I think, you know, the number 10 position is his best position. It's the position I'd play him in personally, and it's the one Graham Potter's gone with so far. Let's go on to, though, his England teammate. It is Conor Gallagher, who, you know, has struggled at times this season, especially under Thomas Tuchel, but I thought this was a coming-of-age moment for Gallagher at Chelsea. The amount of running that he did in this game and effort was massive. I mean, he got 5 tackles, which is huge, and 2 interceptions as well. Just shows that he's really getting stuck in there. But we know Gallagher is the sort of player. Thing we was wondering could he get on the ball more? And he got 72 touches, and most of them were quite good. You know, he looked a lot more settled in this game on the ball, especially. He's looked a bit off it, especially under Tuchel. But the thing that we know Gallagher's best for is, you know, his duels on the pitch, and he won 6 out of 11. Conor Gallagher, you know, it just shows that, you know, I think we know what this Graham Potter team is going to be. It's full of running, it's full of energy, and is to have that ability on the ball as well, which is what Mason Mount and Gallagher showed. Speaking of Graham Potter, I mean, the only person I can think of with a bigger glow up than Graham Potter is Bazinga, to be honest. I'm going to show a picture of Graham Potter at Brighton. There we go. And here's him at Chelsea. Contrast. There were actually 7 changes in here. I mean, Kepa obviously kept his place, but, you know, when you look at Kepa came in for Mendy in this game, Cucurella in for Chilwell, Trevor Chalobah was in a back 2, Azpilicueta came in for Reece James, which was, I mean, a bit of a risk, I'd say, but Azpilicueta did play really well. Ruben Loftus-Cheek came in as well in the middle, and Gallagher right mid. So there were 7 changes overall, and they still back-to-back 3-0 wins, which is really positive for Graham Potter. That now gives him 6 out of 6 points in the Premier League, and he's unbeaten. One thing I found interesting was that he's actually changed formation every single game so far. I don't know whether that's, you know, for the opposition, he's playing to the opposition's weaknesses or strengths, or he's just trying to work out what works best for him and his players. But in this game, he used a 4-2-3-1, a 4 at the back, and I thought it looked great. But he used a 3-4-3, I think it was, against Palace, which also looked very good. The thing I've noticed is how much pressure Chelsea are putting on teams is so different to Thomas Tuchel. And I think they've looked really, really strong so far, Chelsea. They just get the ball back and then recycle it straight away. I think there will be some creativity issues, probably, for a bit. But I think once the, you know, Nkunku will come in the door in the summer, maybe get a new striker, even though, let's talk about Broja with, well, very skillful goal that. Let's talk about Wolves, and of course, Diego Costa's return to Stamford Bridge only Diego Costa would get a round of applause whilst going off for doing nothing, 2-0 down. I don't think Wolves were awful, to be honest. I just thought it was more of a case of Chelsea being good. But the thing I can't understand about Wolves is they have so much attacking talent. When you have pace like Traore, Podence, Guedes, dribbling ability like those three, and you're creating hardly no chances, I just don't understand it. I think that must be a Bruno Lage thing. I think it's going to take a while for them to, you know, completely change it and get back to their attacking ways, which they were brilliant at a few years ago. I think Costa was just, well, he just wasn't there, really. He didn't win any of his duels. He didn't hold the ball up. He didn't have a shot. I mean, it was just quite non-existent. Yeah, you know, I think there's talent in that Wolves team. They have to be doing better, though. And Chelsea looking very impressive. Let's go on to the second game, which is Brighton versus Tottenham. And you know what's very, very weird? As a Spurs fan, even though we only had 41% possession, it felt like we had the ball a lot. Because we've had it so little this season, having 41% possession, it just felt like we had the ball so much. I think the first 30 minutes is what made me feel like that. I think we were really good in those first 30 minutes. On the ball, we looked comfortable. Of course, that in those first 30 minutes is where we got the goal. I thought it was a very good defensive performance from us. I seen De Zerbi, the Brighton manager, say that there was only one team in the game and that football's unfair. I think that's harsh. I think when a team defends really well, like we did, I didn't really feel under pressure at all from Brighton. I didn't ever feel nervous. I don't think they really created that much. I thought we defended really, really well. I think to say that football's unfair, it's just dumb, to be honest, because it's your job to go out there and score goals, and if you can't do that, then, you know, that's not our problem, that's your problem. I was so impressed and so happy to see Matt Doherty and Sessegnon back in the team. For me, those were our strongest fullbacks. I know Perisic is very liked within Spurs fans, but I think that's just because it's new. Sessegnon's performed a lot better than Perisic this season. And, you know, I think only Perisic, the thing he has over Sessegnon is the set pieces. I don't think Perisic has been great going forward. I don't think Perisic, and I think he's too defensively weak, to be honest. I think Sessegnon so much stronger than him defensively. Matt Doherty proved why he has to be in that team. Look, Emerson Royale getting a red card at the Emirates wasn't ideal, really. Sort of definitely lost us the game if it wasn't lost already, but it also gave Antonio Conte that he had to use a different player, and Matt Doherty showed that it has to be him in that position. Going forward, much more of a threat. There was a moment where I actually should have crossed it to Sessegnon, but he messed up a little bit. Lack of sharpness. Defensively, so much better. On the ball, so much better. Going forward, the runs were just so much better from Matt Doherty. And that's his first game, you know? Imagine 5 games in. You know, I think we're a much better team with him in. We played a 3-5-2, which a lot of Spurs fans actually wanted to see. I wanted to see it. We had a midfield 3 of Bentancur, Bissouma and Højbjerg, who I thought did well. I thought Bissouma was doing okay. And then he got the yellow card, which made him extremely cautious for the rest of the game, so not the best one for him. I thought Bentancur, though, in particular, was fantastic. Made 6 tackles, went in for 15 duels, made 3 clearances, and actually had a really good shot that was stopped by the keeper. A really complete performance, and he's been one of our best players this season, Bentancur. You know, I don't think Bentancur and Højbjerg have been bad. It's just the system. We've been outran in that midfield quite a lot, or outnumbered. I think there's still a lot that Son has to improve on this season. I think he's ruining a lot of our counter-attacks, actually, with the final pass. Don't think it's been good enough at all. I thought Brighton were good. I remember there was a moment where Dunk made a fantastic tackle on Son. And does Dunk have a claim in the England squad? You know, we complain about centre-back. Well, I'm not even English, but, you know, England fans complain that, you know, there's no centre-back there. And Dunk consistently performs for Brighton, was very good in this game. Does he have a claim? I'm sure Brighton fans think so. I thought Caicedo was amazing in that midfield. Honestly, he's filled Bissouma's boots so well. I mean, the first game against Man United, where he was fantastic, I thought he wasn't just as good as that, but he was very, very good this game. Been a revelation in that midfield for Brighton, and McAllister as well next to him was very impressive as well. He's been fantastic this year. I thought Solly March was very well. You know, he was just up and down all the time, always a threat. But one player I thought was actually really good was Danny Welbeck. And it's quite amazing how he's turned into this like very good target man. I think he won 5 of his 5 headers, aerial duels, which is obviously very, very good. On the ball, he's just looked great. And he was, I think he produced Brighton's best chance. And it was a good shot against Hugo Lloris, which he saved well. But Welbeck's been very good this year. He doesn't have a goal. I don't think so. But overall performances, I think, have been really strong. A really good win for Tottenham. Brighton haven't lost at home since March. And that was against Tottenham, funny enough. But Brighton, I thought, were good as well. I thought it was just 2 good teams and Spurs just came out on top. Let's go on to the biggest game of the weekend, and it was Arsenal versus Liverpool at the Emirates. Now, if you look at the lineups, we can see Tomiyasu actually came in at left back and did a really good job against Mohamed Salah. You know, I think it was quite smart to put a right footer against someone you know is going to cut in with the left. You know, it just makes him a lot stronger defensively. What I would say is, I've seen a lot of praise, and he does deserve praise. But is there anyone who hasn't pocketed Mo Salah in the last like 9 months? I mean, he's been absolutely awful for ages. Don't really know what's happened there. Thiago came back for Liverpool, and I thought in that first half he was purring. I thought him and Henderson completely controlled the game. You know, they were by far the stronger midfield out of the 2. Obviously, as the game went on in the second half, that just disappeared. I honestly have no idea what happened there. Jota came in for Liverpool. Nunez was back as well. And I actually thought the 2 strikers, I think Jota was a bit deeper. I thought they were actually really, really good. Definitely Liverpool's strongest 2 players on the pitch, I'd say, overall in the 90 minutes. I think Jota had some really good moments. Nunez looked a threat, held the ball up actually really well. And of course got the goal. However, you know, when it comes to, even though I'm saying Liverpool control and complimenting Liverpool, you can see Arsenal actually had a lot more XG. You know, they just looked the team that would create more, looked always dangerous. And I think that was down to Martinelli in particular. Wow, what a performance. And he always does it against Trent. And Trent, it's not going well, is it? The first goal is, I don't think it's disastrous from Trent, but I think he should be a bit more aware of his surroundings there. I think the second goal is disastrous defending. I'm going to show you a screenshot here and then here, where he is now. He did not look behind him once. He kept his eye on one thing. Total lack of awareness. And if you're going to do that, get the ball. And he didn't. And that's why they scored. Leaving it a 2-on-1 in the box. Trent, I don't know what's happened. He's not always been this bad defensively. He's been weak. Or he's been weaker at defending than attacking, but he's never been this bad. I think there's a lack of concentration. I don't know whether it's ego. I don't think he's going to get in the England squad if this continues at all. But yeah, I thought Martinelli was absolutely fantastic. And the wingers for Arsenal, if you look at Saka on the other side, always helping his fullback all the time. And I think this is why Arsenal have been atop of the league at the moment, is the work rate, the pressing, helping back, defending. It's the work rate, and you can see that there's a massive belief in them that they can do something really special this season. For me, I think Arsenal's weak spot is Gabriel. I've heard a lot of Arsenal fans praising him, but I don't see it. I think he's definitely the weak point in that Arsenal team. If something was to go wrong for Arsenal this year, I think it's down to Gabriel. I thought he was bad yesterday. I thought he was bad in the North London derby. I think Saliba is showing that there's levels to being a centre-back. In the summer, if Arsenal want to improve and say, okay, we want to challenge for the Prem, I think Gabriel will be the first position out. But yeah, you know, I didn't think Liverpool were bad in this game. You know, they didn't have a high XG, but in terms of controlling the game, they looked calm at times. I thought Henderson and Thiago were very good in the first half. But I mean, there was just such a drop-off, you know, in the final 35 minutes of the game, a massive drop-off. And I think Fabinho really didn't help when he came on. He looked absolutely shot. He looked terrible. Way off it. Didn't look to the pace of the game at all. I think it does come down to recruitment. You know, I cannot believe they didn't sign a centre mid. You know, they sent Arturo. What was that going to do? It needed to be better. I think they should have kept Nico Williams, because now you're having to play Joe Gomez at right back. And Liverpool, they're not title challengers. They're 14 points off of Arsenal in 9 games. And they've got Man City next. Let's go on to the last game. It's Crystal Palace versus Leeds. And Anderson returned for Crystal Palace in this game and putting in another very good performance again, which is something he's doing very consistently. And for me, I think he's in the team of the season right now. You know, when you look at his performance against Arsenal on the first day of the season, his performance against Liverpool, where he manhandled Nunes and then ended up getting him sent off. And the rest of the games, he's been really impressive and was good in this one as well. Palace fans seeing a midfield three of Eze, Elise and Doucouré, they must be so excited right now. And of course, Eze got the goal, and I think it's his first goal, actually, in front of a full Palace crowd. And it's fully deserved. It's a very good goal. And it's one of the best ball carriers in the league, one of the most fun players to watch in the Premier League when he's at it. And you can, what I like is you can tell when he's just scored and you can see the confidence beaming off of it. Is Eberechi Eze the most likeable player in the Premier League? I think he might be. Let me know. Edouard with the finish, very similar to the one last week from Jordan Ayew, but this time from Michael Elise, who is low-key one of the best crossers in the Premier League. I think one of the most underrated players in the Premier League, Jordan Ayew, was very good as well. His work rate's always top tier. He doesn't really ever lose the ball unless he's shooting. One thing I would say is I thought Guaita was a bit off it in this game. His kicking was awful. He gave the ball away a few times. Yeah, I thought he was a bit unreliable in this game. Despite giving Palace quite a lot of compliments though, I actually didn't think they played that well, to be honest. In the first half, I thought Leeds were the better team. They pressed Palace really well, and what I liked is they actually completed a lot more dribbles than Palace, but Leeds actually dropped off in the second half, and I think that was probably Aronson being the main reason for that. You know, in the first half, he was getting on the ball, taking players on, and he just sort of died out in the second half, but he's a really exciting player for Leeds. You know, in the first half, Leeds had 7 shots. In the second half, they had 3. Palace having 1 shot in the first half to their 12 in the second half. So you can see it was really a game of 2 halves. I thought Tyler Adams put in a good performance in this one. I haven't seen him much, but he did impress me in this game. But my man of the match was Christensen at right back. To deal with Zaha in that way was very, very impressive. Made 4 tackles, 4 interceptions, 2 blocked shots and 2 clearances as well. Just a really defensively good performance from him. You know, it's really not easy to keep an informed Zaha, you know, out, and he did it very, very well. Massive win for Palace, you know, after some really tough fixtures. And Leeds, I wouldn't panic just yet. I think, you know, you played quite well, to be fair, especially in that first half. But yeah, Palace, I think the quality just showed in the end. Let's go on to just some other games, and Bournemouth, let's start with them. 5 unbeaten. Who would have seen this coming? You know, when Scott Parker got sacked, I think everyone just thought, well, Bournemouth are down. I think they thought that when he was there anyway. Do you know who I feel sorry for? James Maddison. 12 goals, 5 goals, 2 assists this season. He's 19th in the Premier League. He has 1 win, and he's not in the England squad. I mean, he just, all of this brilliant work that he's doing week in, week out, and he's not getting really any reward for it at all. And Brendan Rodgers is just hanging on, isn't he? I mean, he's hanging on to the thinnest piece of rope possible. Brilliant win for Newcastle, 5-1. Here is my bold prediction of the season. I predict Newcastle to go unbeaten at home all season. I don't think they'll lose at home, even though Brentford did give them 4 goals, and in a different world it's 1-1. Thought it was a terrible performance from Brentford, just mistake, error after mistake, error. Really embarrassing. Horrendous performance. Man City, I'm not talking about Man City long. Gonna win the Prem. Cancelo's good, Haaland's good, De Bruyne's good, Foden's very good. Yeah, well done. Congratulations on winning the Premier League. West Ham, back to winning ways, 3-1. I think is that 3 in a row? It might be, you know. Oh, I'm a poet and I know it. Fulham, I think for Fulham, they need to get a win quick, because you've had a really good start to the season and there's no point just losing like 5 games in a row now. You know, keep the momentum going. Otherwise, that good work at the start of the season, he'll just be back in 16th place if it carries on like this. Scamacca looks great though. It's a brilliant finish, and it was a really weird celebration. Well, he didn't celebrate. It was quite cool though, to be fair. Man United, good win, very good win. To do that at Goodison in the night, yeah, impressive. I don't think these Man United players had the steel for that, to be honest. Goal number 700 for Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't need to speak about how good that is. He knows how good it is. The world knows how good that is. And, well, one of the GOATs, top 2 players ever, Cristiano Ronaldo. Well done. Anthony, yeah, or Anthony. I think it's Anthony. Great finish. Seems to like that, you know, curled into the bottom corner with his left foot. Really impressive so far for Man United. But the one player I want to talk about is Alex Iwobi, because even though I actually didn't think his performance was that good last night, he lost the ball quite a lot. He actually lost the ball for Ronaldo's goal. It's a massive turnaround in his career. It's a great goal. And, you know, I remember in the Europa League final against Chelsea, he's the only Arsenal player I thought that showed something. And you can clearly see there's a lot of mentally right. You know, he's got the right attitude to improve himself, and he's done exactly that at Everton. And I think you have to give Lampard credit as well. For my goal of the weekend, of the round, I've gone with Broja. Could have gone with Iwobi, could have gone with Bruno, could have gone with someone else, but I just think Broja's skill across the floor to kill that bottom corner was fantastic. Really good goal. My player of the round was Bruno Guimaraes. What a season he's having. I think everyone knew he was going to do well at Newcastle. 2 very good goals as well. He's just playing so well right now, Bruno Guimaraes. And yeah, he's my player of the round. My fantasy, yeah, no, it's bad. It's bad. I don't have Haaland. It's a problem. I don't have Haaland. It's a problem. Thought Trossard might do something. He didn't. Wilfried Zaha get me a few points, 10 there. Saka, saving my weekend, to be honest, because apart from Saka, is an absolute mate. Trippier with an assist. He's been very reliable for me so far. Yeah, I'm gonna have to have a look at this team and do something, because right now I'm ranked 4,200,000 in the world. It's not good. It's not good. I need to turn it around big time. Let me know if you had a good weekend on Fantasy Premier League. If you have enjoyed the video, give it a like and subscribe if you are new. And thank you for watching.